ratings of 103, 101, 122, 108, 104, 112. What are you talking about? You're damn right it was the receiver's fault. I just think it's a little bit of bitterness right now. I can understand it, but it does not need to be aimed in the direction of Aaron Rodgers based on his performance from the past. This year, Max, yes. The past, absolutely not.
Stephen A. I am not at all bitter. My point in what I'm saying is that today, watching Aaron, having played alongside him, I'm not seeing that great quarterback that you just listed all those statistics for.
Greg Jennings, when he played with Aaron Rodgers, averaged 3 yards more per catch than he did the rest of his career with any non-Aaron Rodgers quarterback. You know what that means? It means Aaron Rodgers is making Greg Jennings a better receiver. Did Jennings make Rodgers any better? And the answer is no. There is zero correlation between Aaron Rodgers' QBR and Greg Jennings being on the field with him.
Let me put it to you like this, Max, because I'm going to respect you even though I don't know you. When you say that Aaron made me better and I did nothing for Aaron, I didn't make Aaron better, are you kidding me?
Are you not entertained? Our next guest, he's not holding back. Please welcome Super Bowl champ and longtime Packer Greg Jennings to the show. Greg,
good seeing you, bro.
Good to see you.
Good to see you, bro. I'm glad you came.
I'm glad you
Do
came.
me a favor. Please set the record straight and tell us how you really feel about this Rodgers conversation.
Well, let me say this. Because this is something that, honestly, for me, it's almost become tiresome. Because everywhere I go, I'm asked about Aaron Rodgers.
Yep.
I don't bring it up. I don't bring him up. I don't mention him. I don't walk around every day talking about what Aaron is doing, what he's not doing. I'm asked these questions. I'm not bitter. I don't have an axe to grind. I've made that statement. I've disclosed. I've publicly apologized on several occasions to Aaron, to the Green Bay Packers organization, to McCarthy, all those guys. I still have relationships with some of those guys that are on that team.
We got it.
Here's where I stand with that. Aaron, is he a great quarterback? Absolutely. Is he better than more than half? Is he still top 5, top 3 in the league? Absolutely. Is he playing to the caliber of what we've seen him play the previous years, excluding last year? No. Whether you're a fan, whether you're an analyst, whether you're a player, you see that. That is the only point that I was making. I wasn't trying to jab at Aaron. I was specifically talking about football play. That is it. And when I talked about what went on in the past when I was there, yes, as a player, that's how we felt. It wasn't that Aaron wasn't playing well. It wasn't that his QBR and all these quarterback ratings that came out wasn't off the chart. Yes, they were. But how we felt when we were in that locker, excuse the we, how I felt when I was in that locker room, we didn't get it. We didn't get the credit. And then for you to say he made me better and I did nothing for him, I look at you like this. I'm not saying I made Aaron who he is. No, absolutely not. I would never say that. But for you to make that statement, that is absurd, because when you look at his performance, the first thing that everyone looks at is, well, his receivers aren't getting open. So obviously he needs those guys too, just like they need him. Is he a great quarterback? Absolutely. We know that. But he needs other players around him to play at the caliber and the level that he's capable of playing at, and they need that from him. Bottom line.
There's nothing wrong with the content of your analysis, I don't believe, in that respect. And I liked very much the video you made in answering Stephen A. and me. I thought you presented it very well. And you must be sick and tired of saying, I kept apologizing, I don't have an axe to grind. And everyone keeps bringing that up. Let me tell you a little bit about, I won't speak for Stephen A., about my process. I start with a hunch. It's a hypothesis. And then I research it and look to see if there's evidence supporting it one way or another. And when you said, because these are the statements that you made, that when things went well, he got the credit, but he didn't take any of the blame, that you essentially that you made him better. I looked it up, and let me tell you what I was expecting to find, that in fact you were right, because you're one of those players in your prime. When I watched you, I feel this way about some players sometimes. He's never considered the best at the position, but damn, when I'm watching Jennings, hard for me to imagine who's better than that. You can't tell me that there's something better than that. So I am a huge fan of your play. But when I looked it up, the evidence said that, in fact, you didn't make him better, that he made you better. And so that's what you have to present. Knowing it may ruffle someone's feathers, even someone that you admire, that you watch from afar and you go, boy, I'm a big fan of that guy. When it comes down to it, not just his QBR, his touchdowns per game, his completion percentage, his interceptions, all unchanged. With you there, with you not there. But you, on the other hand, 8 targets a game with him, 5.7 without. 73.3 yards a game with him, 46.6 without, etc.
Are we now comparing Aaron Rodgers to the quarterbacks that I've had when I left? The Ryan Tannehills?
No. Well, yes,
Teddy
and
Bridgewater. Is this the Christian Ponder, Matt Castle, Josh Freeman for one night? I mean, no disrespect to any of those guys.
But they ain't Aaron
Really?
Rodgers.
Right, but I consider you an elite receiver. So without you, there should be some drop-off at some point, but there wasn't. So now, you're taking a common sense approach. Max, you really think that if you replace me with just another receiver, that doesn't make the quarterback worse? That's a totally fair point for you to make, because common sense says that would be true. But every team is going to have a lead receiver. So the question is not whether you are better than an average receiver. The question is, did you make Rodgers better than another lead receiver that Rodgers has had to play with make Rodgers? And the answer, according to the evidence, is no.
Quick,
Go ahead, because I want to get in, but go ahead.
Really quick, I know you do. I never made it about me. You made it about me. I've never been a me, I guy. We all know that sitting here at this table.
That is true.
My point was we collectively, what we had with the Jermichael Finley, with the myself, with James Jones, with Jordy Nelson, with Donald Driver, and you can keep going on and on and on. Collectively, that's what made us great. He doesn't have that right now. So if you took myself out, it didn't matter because we had so many pieces. If you took a Donald Driver out, it didn't matter because we had so many pieces. If you took Jermichael Finley out, it didn't matter. We had so many pieces. Now, you take one of those guys out of that current roster, it matters because they don't have the depth. They don't have the arsenal. So that's my point when I say the level of play is going to drop. It's not because of me.
Hold on.
I'd like to follow that up, but go ahead, Stephen A., because
My man.
What's happening?
I appreciate it. We've known each other for years, Max, so, I mean, we've talked about this off the air. My brother, you brought this on yourself. That's the key that's being escaped here. I'm not here to refute his numbers, and I'm not here to refute your points. But you did bring this on yourself. Let me tell you how.
When I pose the question, I give an honest answer?
No, that's not where I'm going.
Okay, go ahead.
Because I have no problem with the question, nor do I have a problem with the answer that you gave, because it was accurate about Aaron Rodgers this year.
Right.
But when you alluded to the past, by virtue of bringing up the past, we have to go to your past. Not statistically, because we know you could ball. We know that you were an all-pro playing with that man. Like you said, he could throw the ball all day, but if a brother ain't getting open, what good does it do?
Right.
Fair enough. Here's the problem. You went to Minnesota. A, you didn't necessarily have to leave. B, and more importantly, when you got there, what did Leslie Frazier feel the need to talk to you about when he was the head coach?
When I was bitter.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
So what I'm saying is that when you brought up the past, I'm not saying because you're a class act and we know that you apologize and all of that other stuff. Ain't nobody going there. I'm simply saying that when you bring up the past, then we got to harken back to what you said when you left. And so if we're looking at it from that perspective, even though you apologize and even though you make very valid points about the present day, the reality is that you were coming across as saying, look, y'all, Aaron Rodgers could ball, but damn, y'all giving him entirely too much credit. And we're like, wait a minute. You already apologized for alluding to that in the past. Had you not apologized and you stuck to that, we wouldn't have had anywhere to go. But you said,
I apologized about was how I came off, the things that I said about leadership, all those different.
Well, those are intentional, but those are the important components of a quarterback
right.
now.
But I've never said that those weren't true. Those weren't my feelings. I apologized in the manner of which I said them, because where I was I angry? Was I bitter? Yes. Do you two know why? No, because
yes,
you weren't inside that locker room.
I'm saying you told me. I'm saying you told me. You told me why.
I would like to.
That's why I know, because you told me.
Okay.
One of the things about being like an analyst now, right, who can work on TV, but also very recently being a top flight player, is that you will be judged not only as when you bring up your experiences with these guys, your play will be judged, as I did when I tried to, give you the analysis of how you were and how he was without you guys. Now, you can always counter with, well, you weren't privy to what was going on behind the scenes. But as an analyst, you can't just leave it there. You then have to fill us in on the details, or else, we're just supposed to accept your representation.
I'll go a step further. When you talk about Aaron Rodgers and you talk about how he had to have some cats, all right, and whether it was you or anybody else, it was all of y'all there. Let's hold on. Let's keep this in mind.
Behind the scenes.
I'm saying, but let's keep this in mind.
Got a minute.
Now, what's Jordy Nelson doing? He ain't the same. Randall Cobb elevated to that number one option. He ain't the same.
That's what I'm saying.
What happened behind the scenes that you're talking about?
That's getting into the whole political Donald Trump.
I understand.
No, we don't do that. That's what happens in the locker room stays in the locker room. Understood. What I want to do right now.
Wait,
can we have a gist of what occurred though, to even defend yourself?
Did you guys ever hear Aaron Rodgers say, "I want to keep Greg here"?
No.
Okay, so as playing with him for that many years, that hurt.
You didn't have loyalty.
No fan looks at that.
That's a very
hurt.
That's a T.O. Donovan McNabb comparison.
I don't care. I don't care who you are.
That feels to us like you're salty.
But what I'm saying, no, that was then.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
So what are you saying about Aaron Rodgers in the locker room? Because that's what you seem to be alluding to without giving us anything. You're just saying accept my representation. What happened?
Before the season started, I was asked about Aaron Rodgers because nobody talks about when I talk great about him, and I said he's the best quarterback in the game at the beginning of the season, before the season started. Nobody, I didn't hear you saying it. I didn't hear nobody saying, "Oh, Greg saying Aaron Rodgers, he'll take Aaron over Brett." I didn't hear anybody say anything about that because it wasn't news. It wasn't something that was like, "Oh my goodness."
I actually did. But
my point,
without getting sidetracked.
My point right now, what I want to set the record straight on is this. Is Aaron Rodgers a great quarterback? Absolutely. Do I have an axe to grind with Aaron Rodgers? No, I do not. To date, because I know him and I see the play that everybody else is seeing. Has he played to the level that we are accustomed to seeing?
Greg,
no.
real quick, we have to go to break, but is it fair to say that you were salty at the time because you didn't see loyalty from your man that you played with all those years and he didn't fight for you?
Absolutely, I said that. But that's so far in the past. I'm not dwelling on that. What I give my responses to what's asked of me has nothing to do with the past.
I have one quick question. Was Aaron Rodgers a problem in the locker room? Did you have a problem with Aaron Rodgers in the locker room?
No.
Okay.
We'll leave it there.
Ratings of 103, 101, 122, 108, 104, 112. What are you talking about? You're damn right it was the receiver's fault. I just think it's a little bit of bitterness right now. I can understand it, but it does not need to be aimed in the direction of Aaron Rodgers based on his performance from the past. This year, Max, yes. The past, absolutely not.
Stephen A. I am not at all bitter. My point in what I'm saying is that today, watching Aaron, having played